swag of a prize fighter. The antithesis of a firefighter. Arsonist, I'm a fire rider. Instant flame like a firelighter. So special with shows, I live out my flows. Can't walk in my shoes, can't purchase my clothes. Ice in my veins, but I never froze. Picture perfect, but I never pose. As a juvenile, I knew I bounced back. Got rated, had a plan to get my ounce back. Use cheese as bait, that's a mousetrap. Let me to the right person to pounce at. They selling dreams, I'm pulling receipts. Full force, we can't be beat. Got a dirty mouth, but the flow so neat. Keep your 2 cents, talk is cheap.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros are comments made by Bernard, the executioner Hopkins. Bernard said that he commends Gervonta Tank Davis for leaving Mayweather Promotions. Trill says he needs to see where B-Hop is coming from with this. We're going to listen to it, and then we're going to discuss it. Let's take a listen to what B-Hop had to say. In the last video, Instagram was giving me a hard time, but hopefully Instagram will allow me to play this. All right, here we go.
I commend Tank on saying, hey, this is my career. You had yours. I respect you from buying me a chain, buying me this, buying me that, take me on a jet. All that's great. But at the end of the day, I'm only going by his interview. You seen it and I seen it. Thank you, Floyd Mayweather, for all the things you gave me. If the intentions was you just looking out for me. But I got an opportunity to fight this big fight. And this soap opera between you and Oscar for all these years, I'm not going to let it affect me. That's my interpretation. And Tank wants to do the fight, but he had to break away from the chains of somebody he still respects and respected then. And he said, man, I got to do what I got to do. This is my career.
All right, those are the comments of Bernard Hopkins. Trill Dollar Bill, what's your reaction to
that? Some is true. I just wish B Hops wasn't the one saying it because it seems a little bit more of like they throw in the, I don't know, trying to make something out of it. All right, I'm just gonna say this. You know what I'm saying? See what you're trying to do, B. See what you're trying to do. I don't commend Tank for leaving Mayweather. I feel this is what I feel like. Yes, he respects Mayweather. Mayweather made Tank who he is. It's the reason why he got the fanfare that he got. He's able to sell out the things that he got. He got put on the platforms and been able to do things. It's because of Mayweather and the Mayweather brand, right? Mayweather did great things for Tank. It's almost like the relationship at first was like the relationship with Bob and TC. You know, long time ago when Floyd was doing all the stuff to try to make Tank a star, he was even, you know, so Tank could be able to, you know, do his thing. The relationship between Mayweather and Tank, that's what happens. Look, you can see Ryan and Oscar, they went at it. So him trying to say, oh, the soap opera over there with him, he wanted to leave the soap opera. No, there's a soap opera going over there too.
And Canelo left Oscar.
Yeah, everybody's leaving fist pump Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
BBL Oscar.
Yeah, like everybody, my man, people know what I'm talking about with Oscar, a little tricky Oscar. You know, I can't even. I'm not talking about Oscar and his extracurricular activities. Fist pump Oscar. He's like, I'm talking about his soap opera stuff that he going through. Talk about what y'all got going over at Golden Boy. Stop trying to drag Floyd Mayweather and then Floyd Mayweather's issues with Oscar. They don't have no issues. That's Oscar brings it up every time that they talk. If they can make some money together, sure. But that's not what he's trying to do. He probably had a set idea of what he wanted to do for Tank. Or he thought that he can get more money for Tank. Or whatever. I don't know the ins and outs. But I'm sure that Floyd Mayweather wasn't not worried about no Ryan Garcia. I know he was probably just trying to get the money right or get the situation right. And sometimes fighters outgrow their promotion. it happens. Sometimes the people outgrow. And Tink is probably feeling that now. Like, I'm a star now thanks to your help, but now I think I can take it from here now. Has nothing about throwing Mayweather under the bus. Maybe he just feels like right now he's in it's time for him to take his career to, like when Floyd left Top Rank. Maybe he feels it's his time to spread his wings, and maybe they'll probably get back together later on. We don't know. But I don't like how they trying to do that little digs and separation or whatever. But shout outs to Bernard Hopkins because he's putting his promotional hat on. You know what I'm saying? Sound like he was watching Eddie Hearn. Matter of fact, he had the DAZN thing behind him. How he was talking, I was like, oh, he's taking some pointers from Eddie. You know what I'm saying? He's taking some pointers from Eddie. But listen, Tank, I commend Tank, right? For trying to learn the business and wanting to take control of his career. I commend that. So because you're always supposed to progress in life, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to progress, and he wants to put younger fighters on. I heard that's what he wants to do under his banner. So now you're going to see fighters from his hometown and fighters that he rock with on his undercards because that's what he wants to do. He wants to set it up for the next generations and the kids that come from the situations where he comes from and give them an opportunity. I forgot the young man. They got a young man that's doing his thing right now. I forgot him. I forgot his name, but shout out.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're working with him right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they hire on him. He's doing his thing. So yeah. I like the growth from Tank, but I don't like when people try to make it messy and try to put people against each other when it wasn't. It's not like that. It's his business.
All right. So growth should be what everyone strives for. And you want to be more in control of your career as time progresses. So I'll give you an example. Even if you're a regular person working
He
a
won his
regular,
masters.
what you say, bro?
I said he won his masters.
Yeah, but not even just a regular person, because like if you worked a regular job, flack for better, let's say you're a probation officer. Well, let's say you start off as an associate probation officer. You want to become a probation officer. So you're associate probation officer for 2 years. So then you become a probation officer. After being a probation officer for 5 years, you want to become an assistant chief probation officer, right? Then you become assistant chief probation officer for 5 to 8 years. You want to become a chief probation officer, right? The point is you want to keep moving up. You want to keep progressing, right? You don't want to be an associate probation officer for 20 years. And this isn't me knocking anyone who's in that position. My point is the goal should always be to move up. It's not always possible to move up, but when you can level up, you should level up. And everyone levels up at different times. Someone may get to one point faster than the other person and then stay at that point, and then the other person get to the next level faster. So it's one of those deals, like I said, where you just got to play your position and play your role. Because I remember we saying that at one point Shane Mosley was more popular than Floyd. So was Oscar. Then Floyd had to stay at his level and play his position until he was able to surpass them. And then he took boxing to another level. So again, that's why you got to play your position and you got to level up. So you hear Oscar saying, or you hear Bernard saying those things about Floyd, but Oscar used to be with Bob. Oscar left Bob and then took over and did his own thing. So did Floyd. Like, the goal is to be your own boss at some point. The goal in life should always be for you to be your own boss. And being your own boss doesn't necessarily mean that you work for yourself, but it means that you do things on your terms and on your time. So I may work for a company, but I work for this company on the time that I'm available, when I feel, how I feel. You understand? So like Tank still isn't promoting himself. He was with Al Heyman. He was with PBC. But he understands that perhaps with PBC, he has a little bit more say so than he did with Floyd. Even if that say so is, I want Ryan next, fine, you got Ryan next, Tank. Even if that say so is just, I pick my opponents. And with Floyd, he couldn't pick his opponents. It took him working with Floyd to learn that him being able to pick his own opponents was very important to him. But let's not forget, Oscar with Canelo had the same issue. Canelo was upset. Canelo, there was one fight, Canelo said, I didn't even know I had the opportunity. He never presented me with that opportunity. Oscar never even presented Canelo with the opportunity. He just rejected the fight. So for Canelo, picking his own opponents was very important. So let's not act like Oscar isn't trying to make the Gervonta Tank Davis fight because he learned from his mistake of not letting Canelo do the fights he wanted to do. When all said and done, right, you got to look at it as you never want to remain in the same position. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter what job you have. You always want to keep moving up. That's how you know you alive. You want to get better. You want to continue to progress. So Tank leaving Floyd isn't a bad thing for Tank, but most importantly, it's not even a bad thing for Floyd. For even a promoter can become too reliant on one fighter. For Floyd, it's also, y'all got to build more of a stable. You have to have more. You can't just rely on Tank. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You can't just rely on this one fighter. Growth isn't a bad thing. Change isn't a bad thing. And it doesn't mean that they're rooting against Tank or Tank's rooting against them. It doesn't mean that Tank doesn't appreciate what they did for Tank. If you work for a company for 10 years and it put you in position to go work at a different company at a director level or a CEO level, are you not grateful to that company for all the things it taught you to? Like the legendary Jay-Z said, he said, we all fish, better teach your folk. Give him money to eat, then next week he's broke. So when you sleep, he's reaching for your throat. Word on the street, you reap what you sow. The point is, you want to teach people how to get their own. Because if you're the only one eating, at some point, they are all going to come for you. We call Bob Arum the star maker. Why? Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Muhammad Ali,
Joe Frazier.
Say what you want about Bob. Bob puts these guys in position to be successful, even Terrence Bud Crawford. So you think that Bob Arum's looking at Bob Arum just let Edgar Berlanga go.
Yeah.
Edgar Berlanga, I would never heard of Edgar if it wasn't for Bob's promotional plan with him.
And I did not think that was a bad idea because Bob got the Puerto Rican Day Parade locked down. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying to you. But Bob Berlanga is in a position where people know his name, and that's due to Bob. And Bob let him go because Berlanga's been making a lot of mistakes, and hopefully Berlanga can get it together. But still, Bob's saying, "Hey, look, bro, you become more headache than you worth. I got to let you go out and find out what it's like on your own." And that could be the position with Tank and Floyd. But to just make it seem like, oh, Floyd was doing this. Floyd got a vision. He got a vision. Floyd says to him, if you go your route, I don't feel like you're valuable to my company, so you got to do what you got to do. And Tank says, if I go your route, I'm not going to be happy with myself or my career. It's a mutual parting of ways, where there's nothing wrong with that. Even Jay-Z, the guy I just quoted, Jay-Z was with Def Jam, learned the ins and outs of the business, and then went and started Rockefeller. I don't know what record label he was with, but I know that he learned the ins and outs of it. He started Rockefeller. Then while he had Rockefeller, he went on to be the president to try to revive Def Jam.
Yeah, first, they were starting a priority first, right?
I can't remember which company.
Yeah.
But my point is, this man has his own label, his own artist, and he's becomes the president to try to revive Def Jam. Because I remember LL Cool J had issues with that. But I do remember because I remember it was Tierra Marie and Rihanna came out.
Neo, he had Neo, he
Yeah.
had Jeezy, he had Rick
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Brought all of them out.
Yeah. And so all I'm saying to you is like sometimes it's not even a conflict because this man's Rockefeller Records and the president of Def Jam. Because it's not like you can't. Artist is artist. It's just out talent. So, and to me, I'm saying like maybe that's a potential conflict of interest, but you know, it is what it is. When all said and done, when it comes to this promotional game, when it comes to people doing what's best in their careers, like to sit there and make it seem like, oh, he had to do it, that's a little bit misleading.
Yeah, and saying that only thing Floyd ever did for him is give him a chain and take him on a ride on the jet.
Didn't Danny Garcia leave Golden Boy?
Yes,
Danny Garcia didn't blow up until he left Golden Boy.
A lot of people left Golden Boy. Like I thought Keith and them left Golden Boy too.
That's what I'm saying.
Richard Schaefer. Once they were doing Richard Schaefer.
Richard Schaefer was the one who everyone loved. That's what Floyd was working with Richard Schaefer when he was fighting Golden Boy. As soon as
Richard was going, everybody left.
And talking, we hit the nail. Floyd used to beat Golden Boy's stable. He made his career beating the stable of Golden Boy fighters. You remember? But he was tight with Richard Schaefer. And Oscar De La Hoya used to pick everyone who Floyd was fighting to beat him. He didn't like Floyd. He wanted to see Floyd lose. And Floyd used to run through his roster. So they used to do business that way. They used to make money that way. So now that Floyd's not fighting and they're not fighting, they're talking about the fighters. And I think that's what Bernard Hopkins is getting at. They don't want to be a part of that soap opera and that saga. So if Tank felt like the only way for me to get Ryan is to part ways with Floyd and maybe I'll go back to Floyd, if that's what he's getting at, then cool. But again, Tank deserves to move up and do and grow as a fighter like Floyd did, like Canelo did, like Manny Pacquiao did. You deserve to do that and call your shots. His contract was up. He didn't do nothing wrong. He fulfilled his contract. Why would you sign a long-term deal? If anything, he should be grateful to Floyd because someone like Floyd can do what some other promoters do and say, I'm going to sign you to a lifetime deal. Floyd not trying to pull that shady business is Floyd's way of saying, like, I want these fighters to have their own. Anyways, to try to make it look like a negative thing, I get what you're saying, Trill, is what I don't like. Yeah. These are two men helping each other succeed in the sport and forcing each other to grow. Tank is growing as a fighter and as his own businessman, and Floyd is growing as a promoter who understands he needs to build a roster, a talented, successful roster where you have 1, 2, or 3 Tanks. Mm-hmm. And you don't just rely on one person. And Tank is taking the reins now where I'm having more control over my career, my legacy, my destiny. And that should be a good thing.
Yeah. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Bucks.